What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Thursday, August 14th, 2025, and we are back with another live here on the Torian Brain Reloaded channel. If you have not done so already, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Shout out to all the mods, all the members, everybody over there on Patreon, all of that good stuff. And if you haven't done so, join the Discord. Make sure to join the Discord, because if you don't get the notifications over here, you will for sure get them over there. But before we get into everything, let me just say two things. One, shout out to everybody who was vibing with the video that I put up earlier this morning, the morning video that I did. I really enjoyed doing those type of videos because it feels like original pieces, like my original thoughts come to play, and then I just go in with it. You know, it's not like I'm reading an article or going or reaction style video or doing anything based off of something someone said on Twitter. So it's not an adaptation, it's an original piece. I had a lot of good feedback from that video. A lot of people was leaving comments saying, thank you, Torian, for making this video. This was a discussion that needed to be had. And I had another person come and say that I often fall into this trap, and I had to reply to them and say I can relate, because sometimes, even though I'm putting this type of video out there, even I fall into the trap of, you know, falling into the rage bait, because sometimes it's hard. It's a mental thing. But I think I'm slowly getting a little bit better. I might have a slip up here and there, but I'm not like how I used to be, where I was constantly falling for it. And that's something that, like, a habit that I had to break. But I'm glad that I got a lot of feedback. There will definitely be some more, I guess you could say, deep dive videos in the future for sure. I definitely have a few more that are coming, so definitely be on the lookout for those. But now that I said that, let me acknowledge those who are in the chat. We got Hacksign KT, Neelix, Wallow J, Dark Titan, Brother Man to You, Raging Woody, Andrea, Flashback, Miss Jalen, Allison, LaHomer, Miss Nisi, Black Original American, Quesadilla, Tangi 2936, Damon, Kid Gravity, and I'm actually glad KG is in the chat. We got Dano, who are Dewani, Denzimus, Tarisha. Oh, by the way, when I drop the link tonight, if I have anybody who lives in DC or lives in the DMV area, I definitely, if you can, I would love to hear from you for sure about this. We got Blueberry Muffin, D Money. Who else we got in here? Patricia. And so far, that is it. But shout out to everybody who is here so far in the chat. We have a very interesting stream ahead of us. This is going to be a very interesting one. We got some articles, we got some videos, and all types of stuff. So I feel like I don't even have to preface, have anyone heard about this, because this has been the talk of the media airwaves since it happened on Monday. So as y'all already know, Donald Trump has officially militarized DC, federalized it, however you want to put it. He has the National Guard out there in DC and saying they're doing this to swell crime or whatever. I can't think of the terminology, but to quote unquote bring crime down and all of that stuff. And many people in DC are like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, literally, what is going on here? And of course, some people who don't live in DC probably wouldn't know. But then again, I've seen the comments on mainly Twitter from the usual suspects getting out there saying, you know, I'm glad he's doing this and everything like that. And we know why they're saying it, because it's mainly Black people that's going to be affected by this. And I keep saying, or we keep saying, that this is not going to end well, because we always say that Black people are the canary in the coal mine. Whatever happens with us is going to trickle down to other groups. I mean, look at how they did that whole quote unquote war on drug thing back in the day. It started with Black people, but who ended up becoming the face of opioids many years later, starting like going back to like 2016. PC individuals. Notice you don't even hear about that anymore. You don't really hear about it, but it doesn't mean that it isn't happening or that it's not occurring. And trust and believe me, I work in DC, so I'm trying to figure out, where is all of this alleged crime, this a massive amount of crime that's currently happening and going on? Somebody let me know. But before we get into all of that, we have to get into the foundation and how this thing even popped off. And when I first heard this story, I immediately said something sounds very suspicious about this. Something doesn't seem right to me about this story. And then when Trump came right behind this and made this declaration, I said, yeah, something is very, very, my red flag has been raised. More like a red banner, because I need something bigger than a flag. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll get into this. So this right here is how it really kicked off. Now, when I first heard this, I thought it was a joke just because of the name. So you have this individual who used to be an engineer for Doge, whose name is Edward Coristine, who, I kid you not, their nickname is Big Balls Paws. That is his nickname. Apparently, from what I've read, he got this nickname years ago. Mind you, he's only 19. Now, the story goes that he was out in DC early in the morning. One story is saying that he got jumped by a bunch of teenagers. Allegedly, they caught 2 of them out of 10 of them that are out of Hyattsville, which, for those who don't know, is a city in Maryland. That was one story. Another one was that it was an alleged carjacking. Then the other one had something to do with the phone and some woman. It was so many stories that were floating around that it's not one concrete story. But we're going to go ahead and get into this article and find out what else, because again, I can't wrap my mind around this to save my life. A 19-year-old with a concerning, quote, hacker background, known online as, I hate to say it, but that's what he calls himself, Big Balls, Big Balls. I know Wallow gonna be saying pause a lot in the chat. Is working as part of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, also known as Doge. One former FBI agent has said he would not have recommended Edward Coristine for government work, knowing his work experience to date. So it sounds to me like he is a person who has no experience for the position in which he's in, which kind of reminds me of the video that I did about that guy at the end of June. If y'all remember, I had did a story about this 21-year-old, I think it was 21, who got this job. And his work background was that he worked in a grocery store. He had some landscaping background, but he ended up getting a job working, I think, in the terrorism division of the Department of Homeland Security. And they got the nerve to say that we are DEI, but they are just handing these jobs out to these young white men hand over fist and wonder why shit looks the way it does. Newsweek contacted Elon Musk via Twitter for comment on how Coristine was appointed to his position. Coristine's recruitment to Musk's team, which was commissioned by President Donald Trump to recommend ways to cut down on government spending, symbolizes the new administration's unconventional approach to government reform. Doge has quickly become one of the administration's most important new additions, with Musk's advice being the driving force behind the U.S. aid shutdown. It represents Trump's election promises to cut back on federal spending and keep the deep state. Previously, it was reported that Doge staff had received equivalent training and security clearance to federal employees who work with sensitive information. However, the White House has not confirmed if Coristine has received these clearances. I'm sure they'll give him one. They'll probably just hand him one. Coristine, a high school graduate with a history of launching startups, has founded at least 5 companies across multiple jurisdictions, including Connecticut, Delaware, and the UK. However, many of these ventures were absent from his now deleted LinkedIn profile in 2022. He worked briefly for Path Network, a network monitoring company known for hiring former hackers, according to Wired. That same year, an individual using a Telegram alias linked to Coristine reportedly sought out a cyber attack for hire service. Well, that doesn't sound suspicious now, does it? This is who got a job, a government job, y'all. Meanwhile, it's some people that can't even get a government job if they smoke even just a little bit of weed. Let's continue. Oh, by the way, this is him right here. Well, we know who that is. But this is Edward Coristine right here. He looked like a creep, but that's him. One of Coristine's ventures, Tesla Sexy LLC, registered when he was just 16, manages dozens of web domains, including Russian registered sites. One of these, still operational, offers Healthy, an AI-powered Discord bot operating in Russia, which could present security clearance challenges per Wired. Coristine worked at Neuralink, another Musk-ran enterprise, before joining Doge, where he was reportedly participated in meetings reviewing government personnel and code. Doge, which was mandated by the election result, has already been responsible for some of the biggest changes to the U.S. government in years, calling for the U.S. Agency for International Development to be dismantled and its services moved to the State Department. It claimed to have saved $1 billion a day in spending based on budget cuts alone. However, the organization solely advisory and is not a full part of the federal government. All recommendations it makes must be approved by President Trump or his cabinet. Elon Musk said on social media in response to Coristine being identified, "I can't believe they doxed another Doge team member." Former FBI agent E.J. Hilbert told Wired on Thursday, "If I was doing a background investigation on him, I would probably have recommended against hiring him for the work he's doing. I'm not opposed to the idea of cleaning up the government, but I am questioning the people that are doing it." Doge continues to make sweeping changes in the federal government, with Musk spearheading cuts to U.S. aid and DEI practices. Meanwhile, you hired someone who will qualify under what we would see as DEI. But see, that just tells you right there, when they say DEI, we know exactly what in the world they are talking about. So let's look at this one right here. Edward Coristine attacked in DC, what we know. So that was a background on him. So now let's get into what is going to eventually be the leader up to what Trump is doing now. And make sure, if y'all have not done so already, follow what Wallow J says and get the likes up. I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, yes, Miss Jalen, brother man, yes, it gets worse. It doesn't get better. We are just at the beginning, y'all. We are only at the beginning. A former employee at the Department of Government agency known as Doge, nicknamed Big Balls Paws, was assaulted in Washington, D.C. at the weekend. Police said, I don't know why they didn't say over the weekend, but I guess that's a typo. Edward Coristine was attacked in the city's Logan Circle neighborhood by a group of teenagers attempting to carjack him and a woman at around 3 a.m. I have a question. What in the world were you doing outside at 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning? And it said with a woman. Somebody was out there tricking. That's what it sounds like to me. According to the Associated Press and Politico, the woman was identified by police as Coristine's significant other. Oh, well, I guess that answers that. Two 15-year-olds were arrested as they attempted to flee the scene. The attack prompted President Donald Trump to renew calls for the federal government to seize control of the nation's capital. Y'all, I'm telling you, if this does not sound suspicious to anybody, if this does not sound like it is so staged, like this is something that should be on, like, I don't know, at the Kennedy Center or the Warner Theater, for those who don't know. Listen, this sounds so orchestrated. It really does. Like, nothing about this sounds organic at all. Newsweek contacted the White House and Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser office for comment via email outside of regular business hours. That's him. And of course, that's the picture that has floated around the internet. Trump's remarks come as his administration weighs how far it can go to exert control over cities struggling with crime, homelessness, and political infighting. The prospect of federal intervention in D.C., which has operated under Limited Home Rule Act since 1973, would mark a dramatic departure from decades of precedent. Under the Home Rule Act, the district maintains its own local government, but Congress retains ultimate authority and can overrule local laws. The group of teenagers approached the couple's car and made a comment about taking the vehicle, the Metropolitan Police Department said. Coristine pushed the woman into the vehicle for safety and turned to confront the group. Several of the teenagers then attacked him until officers patrolling nearby intervened. Y'all, this sounds like a script. This sounds like a script. As officers moved toward the group, the teenagers fled on foot. Two 15-year-olds from Maryland were later arrested on charges of unarmed carjacking. Coristine previously held key roles in Doge amid its efforts to slash the federal bureaucracy and now works for the Social Security Administration, according to Politico. This is another reason why this doesn't sound right. Carjackings or attempted carjackings happen all the time. All the time, whether armed or unarmed. Why now is this happening? And why with him are you doing this? What makes him so special that you want to send the National Guard into DC? This happens all the time in all states, in all areas. Carjackings happen or attempted carjackings happen all the time. You want to know what doesn't happen all the time? No. When you storm the Capitol on January 6th, that doesn't happen all the time. But they delayed getting the National Guard there, which is how they ended up in the Capitol in the first place. If they would have deployed the National Guard there the same way that they just did in DC, then January 6th may not have happened. I'm just saying. Trump said in a post on Truth Social on Tuesday, if DC doesn't get its act together and quickly, we will have no choice but to take the federal control of the city and run the city how it should be run and put criminals on notice that they're not going to get away with it anymore. He added, perhaps it should have been done a long time ago. Then this incredible young man and so many others would not have to go through the horrors of violent crime. If this continues, I'm going to exert my powers and federalize the city. And he put federalize in all caps. He called for a change in the law so that the juveniles who attacked Coristine could be charged as adults. I want y'all to keep that in mind too. I want y'all to keep that in mind. He wants two 15-year-olds to be charged as adults. Put a pin in that as we continue to go forward with this. Marco Elez, another Doge staffer, wrote on X that Coristine was a quote hero. He added, and wait till I get to the next article, y'all. That one's even more ridiculous. He said, I took this photo after Edward protected a young woman from an attempted carjacking by 8 thugs. Look at the verbiage. Near DuPont Circle. Violence like this in the heart of DC is completely unacceptable. Elon Musk, the former head of Doge, wrote on X Tuesday, a few days ago, a gang of about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in DC. A Doge team member saw what was happening, ran to her to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of concussion, but he saved her. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, aka B6, a Georgia Republican, wrote on X Tuesday, not only does Edward Coristine patriotically work to gut our government of waste, fraud, and abuse, he is also a hero for sacrificing his own safety to defend a helpless woman. We need more men, and she put men in all caps just like she did hero, like Edward Coristine. She added, Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, is tragically one of the most dangerous cities in America. Look at this. Overnight, no one's talking about DC and its crime. But then this happens. Now it's the most dangerous place. It's being overran by thugs and gangsters. You know, it's all of this. It's all of that. Now we got to send the National Guard in literally overnight. And what's crazy is all these people that are talking about this now were all about that Epstein file stuff the day before and prior to that. Ever since this happened, you have not heard a peep out of those same people talking about Epstein files this and Epstein files that. This was the perfect lightning in a jar, bottle, whatever you want to call it, for Trump. Because that's all they've been talking about since this happened. Before this, though, you know what? I take that back. The other distraction for them, because I can't take them seriously, was the whole Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad. So it was Epstein files, then Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle. Now is the National Guard has descended upon DC. I wonder what's going to happen next. I wonder what will happen next. The Metropolitan Police Department said its investigation into the attack on Coristine remains active and additional suspects are still being sought. So that's it right there. Now watch what I say, what I mean when I say this next article is absolutely ridiculous. Watch this, y'all. And again, make sure y'all hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Look at this. Remember how they kept saying Edward Coristine is a hero? Say it long enough and they may actually make it a reality. Look at this. White House wants big balls, pause, to get the same medal as Rosa Parks. Do y'all want to guess what that medal is? Someone in the chat. I'm sure someone already knows. Can y'all guess what that medal is? And why they had to bring up Rosa Parks? I couldn't mention both of them in the same. Like, why would you mention them in the same sentence? No, not the Nobel. Yes, Neelix. Yep, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Or is it the I think it's the Medal of Freedom. The Presidential Medal of Freedom. For what? For what? Someone please out there help me make this make sense because I'm confused right now. This is about to fry my brain. So y'all just handing stuff out now. But these are the same people that got upset because they put up statues of George Floyd. Mind you, we didn't ask for those statues. These are the same people that said don't make George Floyd a martyr, but you're giving out medals. But you know what? I'm not surprised because these are the same people a couple years ago that was calling Daniel Penny a hero for choking Jordan Neely to death on the train. These are the same people that called Kyle Rittenhouse a hero. Y'all understand this. Look who they prop up as heroes. I'm just saying. An ex-Doge staffer known, I'm not reading that, Edward Coristine, could end up receiving the highest civilian honor in the United States, placing him in the company of luminaries such as Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., and Mother Teresa. 2 weeks after 19-year-old Edward Coristine was viciously assaulted during a carjacking in Washington, D.C., the White House says it would consider giving the administration official a Presidential Medal of Freedom for his bravery. What bravery? Y'all... Y'all, I cannot make this up. If y'all haven't hit the like button, please hit it. Please hit that like button. Oh, this is some very interesting and diabolical work. Because you're just giving out awards now. Just because, if that's the case, I should be getting one. Y'all in the chat should get one at this point. We might as well get, just for, you know what? Just for breathing. You know what? If you breathe today, you get a medal. That means 126 people watching this got a medal today. The issue was raised during a White House briefing in which Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, which we're actually going to look at after this, well, not the whole thing, but just Trump's part, invited MAGA pundit Benny Johnson to act. Oh, God. And I just did a video about that clown. To ask the first question, as has become customary for Trump-friendly media under the... Are y'all hearing this? Look at this. Has become customary for Trump-friendly media under the new administration. So these aren't even people who aren't unbiased. So you got biased people in there asking questions because they're going to be softball questions and questions that align with your narrative. Y'all, I feel like the meat in an idiot sandwich right now. I really do. I feel like we're falling out of the galaxy right now. How real is this? After talking about his own personal experience with violence in DC, which shout out to was it KG? KG, I think it was you yesterday that did a live and you were showing that video about Benny Johnson, which, by the way, I didn't even know Benny Johnson even lived in DC. And he's up there talking about all the violence that he experienced in DC, which I don't believe an ounce of it. I was actually also watching Church's live yesterday. He was on with Beatzilla, and they were showing it was Abby Phillips' show, and you had that Scott Jennings on there. You know he's staunchly anti-black, and he's the contrarian of that panel. He's up there talking about how DC is so violent, and I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Overnight, no talks about DC being violent. And then this happens. Oh, DC has all this high crime, all these carjackings, all these shootings. We got to get the scum out of it. Literally, like that, at the drop of a hat. Like so quickly. They didn't care anything about this before until this white guy gets his ass beat, quote unquote, who worked for Doge, who has a very checkered past himself. And now you want to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom for bravery for getting his ass beat. Let's continue. After talking about his own personal experience with violence in DC, thanking Leavitt for Trump's actions and slamming Democrats, Johnson asked if the president would consider Coristine, better known on, I'm not reading that, for a Presidential Medal of Freedom in view of his heroic action just a few blocks from the building. So it was Benny Johnson that suggested it. Now we're getting somewhere. Benny Johnson, a person who allegedly purchased subs, but y'all ain't heard that from me, is recommending that this dude gets the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He says perhaps it's something he would consider, Leavitt replied. Coristine, who helped Elon Musk earlier this year to slash the federal government and now works with the Social Security Administration, was left bloodied after he was approached by teenagers at around 3 a.m. in DuPont Circle, a lively neighborhood in Northwest Washington. And by the way, DuPont Circle is not anywhere near where they would consider to be the hood. Not even close. A 15-year-old girl and 15-year-old boy were subsequently arrested and remain in juvenile jail as the investigation continues. But the ex-Doge staffer was elevated to hero status in the MAGA world after the president posted a gruesome photo from the crime scene on his Truth Social account before threatening a federal takeover of DC to lower the crime rate. Last week, Republican Senator Mike Lee even posted a creepy AI-generated clip of Trump placing the Medal of Freedom around Coristine's neck. Trump's threats became reality on Monday when he announced he would bring in the National Guard and federalize the DC Metropolitan Police to restore law and order, despite the crime rate being at a 30-year low and falling across all categories. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday, Leavitt said that about 850 officers and agents have been surged across the district. However, she also revealed that despite the unprecedented presence, only 23 arrests were made, including for low-level crimes such as fare evasion and traffic infringements. It's gotten to this point, y'all. Something that some people would just get a fine for or a ticket, they're arresting them for. For those who don't know, in DC or in the DMV area, wherever the train is, they had to put these kind of like almost like a border type of thing up to make it high enough because people would jump over. Well, if y'all live in an area that has a metro line or a subway line, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Who will hop over the things to avoid paying? They put that up. But on the thing is, you will probably just get a fine of some sort, but now you're arresting people for this. So that means that they have these individuals down there patrolling at these train stations. And you know who they're going after with that. It says last night, these arrests consisted of homicide, firearms offenses, possession with intent to distribute narcotics, fare evasion, lewd acts, stalking, possession of a high-capacity magazine, fleeing to elude a vehicle, no permits, driving under the influence, reckless driving, and a bench warrant, she said. Critics seized on the numbers to claim that the president's claims of Washington, D.C. as a hotbed of crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor were grossly exaggerated. With 850 agents making 23 arrests, that's a 37-to-1 ratio of force results, wrote one ex-user going by the handle White House X-Ray. This isn't a law enforcement surge. It's a political theater with a federal budget. The White House, however, has hit back while Trump supporters say that Coristine is emblematic of DC's crime problem. Giving him a Presidential Medal of Freedom would appease Trump's base and place the 19-year-old in the company of recipients who have made an especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural, or other significant public or private endeavors. Over the years, this has included presidents such as Jimmy Carter and Lyndon B. Johnson. Y'all, we are in some deep shit. If you can get a Presidential Medal of Freedom for this, then they could just go ahead and cut the check for us right now. I mean, if anything is possible at this point, I'm being facetious as I say this. Y'all, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. But speaking of saying things, now we're going to hear from the horse's mouth himself. So this is the Trump portion of him announcing the national takeover of DC. Is much longer than this. Pause. While I got it before you did. It's like the whole video is about an hour long, but his portion is just 12 minutes and 20 seconds. I sped it up so we can get through this as quickly as possible. And I wanted to show this video first because after the video, then it's going to cover in some things that was probably go into more depth here. If less is mentioned here, then I won't have to do that. But in case I have the articles on standby. So let's get into it. By the way, y'all, put a 1 in the chat if you've seen this. If y'all listened in on KG's live when he announced it, y'all probably heard it already. But put a 1 if you've already heard this. Put a 2 if you haven't.
I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom. And that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. And you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough. And they know what's happening. And they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you.
This is going to play like a reaction style, so here's my first pause here. Understand what he's doing. Can someone, I want to see if anyone in the chat can put in there what he's doing, especially with what he just said right there. Yes, Black Trinity, we know he's lying, but what is he? It's something he's specifically doing. Especially, like, listen to when he said, you people know about it. And then he went into started listing certain things. We know he's lying. Shout out to Black Trinity Girl. Fear mongering. He's invoking fear to the people. In order for them to be on his side.
Want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as.
Now listen to this. He said the crime rate in DC is higher than places that aren't even in America. He started mentioning other countries. While on the screen, they have the graph that crime is down. And he's sitting there lying and saying that it's up. The graph is right there. Now, of course, he can't see it because this was put up by the people over at CNN. But it shows right there the crime is down, but he's sitting there lying saying it's up. And that too, Wallow J, it's a waste of tax. The taxes for for people in DC is going to go sky high for this.
Being the worst places on earth, much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out.
I want you to understand something too. This is also the same guy that took out an ad years ago on 5 black teens, known then as the Central Park 5, for the alleged violation of a white woman in the park. Look what he's doing all these years later as president. All I got to say is wash, rinse, repeat. Because now as president, he can do more than just take out an ad, as you can see with what's being presented before you today. That was one of the first things that stuck out to me when I first learned about this.
Maniacs and homeless people, and we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it. Yeah, just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes to our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had 0. I don't know if that's right, but the people that do the work, it's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said 0 for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And, you know, when you say take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, okay, the red is a place called.
Where did he get that? Something tells me he got it from a non-refutable source, a non-reliable, I should say non-reliable source, or unconfirmed source.
Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad.
Remember at one time when they tried to call Chicago Chirac, like they said crime was so bad they compared it to a war zone. Now they're doing the same thing with DC. He's now saying that DC is worse than Baghdad. Mind you, these are some war-torn countries that DC is being compared to. I want y'all to understand this.
Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs. Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru, all double and triple what they are. So do you want to live in places like that? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think the people in this room, if you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. DC, 41 per 100,000, number 1 that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that. Is that where you want to live? They're pretty bad, but they're not as.
Okay, he has a printout of all these places, but I don't see a link. What? He's trying to, does he really expect us to believe that DC is higher than all of those places? Mind you, DC is the only American spot on that list. This is just about as bad as what he said about what was going on in South Africa to the president down there. Remember that? And he sat up there and he lied on him too. What was that, like a couple months ago? Because anybody could have photoshopped that. That's all I'm saying. Exactly, Kelly Goodman, the South Africa grip. You remember what I'm talking about? It looks just like, it sounds just like that. When they was getting the quote unquote South African refugees to come from there over here because they were going through it with the black people down there. It's the same song and dance, only this time it's on American soil.
Bad as that?
Oh God, Trini girl, don't get me started on that one. That was that was another thing. Oh, but they don't want to talk about what's going on in these rural towns, though. They don't want to talk about that.
Is that where you want to live? The reporters of the world? Juvenile offenders and crimes against persons as they.
What is that? FBI crime data, juvenile offenders.
They say it's getting worse. Not getting better, it's getting worse. And we had a recent indication. There was a story about a man who was just left. He quit because he was asked to do phony numbers on crime. And we're going to look into that. I think Pam is going to be looking into that. But he was asked by the city, I guess, that we don't want to show the real numbers. Let me do numbers so it looks like it's going down. Not going down. And under Biden, it was a disaster. And nobody did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you.
Wally, you said the charts are from Fox News. I'll see your Fox News and raise you. They're coming from Photoshop. Because these are printouts, and it's like there's no links. Like, you know, usually like if you print something off of a website or something like that, it'll have a link there, like at the bottom of the page. There's no link. It's literally something that's printed out on a piece of paper with these charts and these stats, and there's no, it doesn't look confirmed at all. But again, it's the same guy that lied on South Africa and about the white people down there. So you can only take this with a grain of salt, if you even take it at all.
Wouldn't believe. It's time for dramatic action. We're going to do the same thing over here. It's going to be a very safe city very soon. We're not looking to take years, because a lot of people die in years. And we've got incredible people in this country, except we have to allow them to do their job. And that we will deliver like nobody's ever delivered before. I actually think it's easy. You know, if you're competent, it's easy. If you're incompetent, it's impossible.
Well, all I have to do is say pot me kettle.
But I'm very competent. Last week, my administration.
That's funny. He said he's very competent. That is up for massive debate. Very massive debate.
Jason surged 500 federal agents into the district, including from the FBI, ATF, DEA, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security. You know, a lot of nations, they don't have anything like that. They got some police, and they're rough police. They don't have DEA, ATF, FBI, Park Police, the U.S. Marshal Service, Secret Service, Department of Homeland Security.
Why did his voice just switch up like that? he sounds like a wrestler. You know how they get in the ring and start. No, Vince McMahon. That's what it almost sounded like. Not as loud, but why did his voice just switch up like that? They all look like they trying to hold in a fart. Like, look at Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth. Look at Pete Hegseth looking at Trump.
Some police, but they're rough police, and they do their job. They don't have crime. We're not going to have crime either. They made dozens of arrests.
So look what he just said. He wants to do it like how these other countries are doing it. It's a reason why those other countries are doing it, and it's a reason why this country is not. Understand this. Like someone said earlier in the live, this is a testing ground for what they probably want to do and expand beyond DC. So to all the people out there who are cheering this on, understand you might get touched. Your city might get affected. Y'all having fun. Some of y'all cheering this on and having fun now because it's happening to the blacks. Like we don't understand through your code speak. Your code speak is weak. It's weak sauce. It actually got exposed years ago thanks to what's his name? Who was that one that exposed that code speak years ago? He's deceased now, but he was staunchly anti-black. Someone put his name in the chat.
And that's what starts to happen. Again, cashless bail. Watch what we do with that. Today, we're formally declaring a public safety emergency. This is an emergency. This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was, with graffiti all over the walls. It's another part of it, by the way, because we're talking about safety, but we're also talking about beautification. We have the most beautiful, potentially, capital in the world. We always had. But people come from Iowa.
No, not Rush Limbaugh. This is someone who predates Rush Limbaugh. He said it in the 80s. Needless to say, it could be so many people. It's one person in particular. Yeah, he said he's going to Russia. It's funny. He's talking about nasty, disgusting. Meanwhile, nasty and disgusting is what you could say to describe what happened on January 6th and stuff that the people up in, if you want to call them that, degenerates put up on them walls throughout the Capitol. Now, that was disgusting.
They come from Indiana. They come and then they get mugged.
Thank you, Green Thought. Lee Atwater. Thank you. That's the name I was looking for. Lee Atwater. He was the one that got exposed. It was a recording. It was a secret recording, and he was talking about code speak. Like he was saying, we're going away from the days we can't call them the N-word or colored and all types of stuff like that. So we got to come with code speak. Yes, Lee Atwater. That was the name I was thinking about. Appreciate you.
Going to happen. Keep coming, because by the time you get your trip set, it's going to be safe again, and it's going to be clean very quickly.
Tedra said, I thought he was going to Alaska. Well, remember what Sarah Palin said years ago, Tedra, that from her home in Alaska, that she can see Russia. So you know he might be going to Russia thinking he's going to Alaska.
We're going to replace the medians that are falling down all over the roads. We're going to replace the potholes. We're going to put a nice new coat of asphalt over the top. No, we don't have to rip the road out and spend 7 years building a new road because they cut everything. Because some designer said, well, we need a 1/4 inch more turn for safety reasons. No, we're going to do it right. We're going to get it done quickly. So today we're declaring public safety emergency in the District of Columbia. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan Police Department as of this moment. And I'll be making the appropriate notifications to Congress.
And by the way, speaking of Alaska, for those who don't know, Alaska has a very high crime rate. Many people would not expect that because it's Alaska. But Alaska has a very high crime rate. If you don't believe me, look it up.
And to the mayor, our new DEA administrator, who's one of the top in the country. He better be Terry. If you're not, I'm going to get rid of you so fast. Terry Cole. Terry, thanks. Very good. We just got him. Most highly recommended person. And you'll be designated as the interim federal commissioner of the Metropolitan Police Department. Okay? And you run them tough. They're good. You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke. But you have a lot.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Let me rewind that. What did he say?
Metropolitan Police Department. Okay? And you run them tough. They're good. You have a lot of good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke.
You have a lot of people that shouldn't be there. They're in there because of woke. Well, Trump, again, another pot meet kettle moment. The same thing can be said about a lot of the people in your cabinet that are there that should not be there. Such as the reason why we're watching this video right now, Edward Coristine, or that guy that I talked about back in June. Or even Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi. If you spread out, the rest of the people standing up there shouldn't be there either. I got to rewind it because he slipped that in there so casually.
The good people. You have people that shouldn't be there. You also have people that shouldn't be there. They got in there because of woke. But you have a lot of great police. And those people are the ones that want to help you.
Pamela, it was more than an hour.
Okay, so I think that might be the end of that. I thought it was more. But I think that's it. Yeah, y'all. We are in some deep shit. But let me go to this article right here. Hold on, y'all. I gotta share the screen again. Let's see. For Washington, NBC Washington. Fact focus. Trump exaggerates, misstates facts on Washington crime. It says President Donald Trump said Monday that his administration will take over policing the nation's capital city in what the Republicans said is an effort to bring down rising crime rates in Washington, D.C. But Trump exaggerated or misstated many of the facts surrounding public safety in Washington, where the crime rate has fallen in recent years, while leaving out much of the context. Statistics rebut Trump's claim about violent crime in Washington. Trump says that it's getting worse, not getting better, and it's getting worse. The facts state statistics published by Washington Metropolitan Police contradict the president and shows violent crime has dropped in Washington since a post-pandemic peak in 2023. According to the data, homicides, robberies, and burglaries are down this year when compared with this time in 2024. Overall violent crime is down 26% compared with this time a year ago. A recent Department of Justice report shows that violent crime is down 35% since 2023, returning to the previous trend of decreasing crime that puts the district violent crime rate at its lowest in 30 years. That report shows that when compared to 2023 numbers, homicides are down 32%, armed carjackings are down 53%, and assaults with a dangerous weapon are down 27%. The city statistics have come into question, however, after authorities opened investigation into allegations that officials altered some of the data to make it look better. But Mayor Muriel Bowser stands by the data and says Trump's portrait of lawlessness is inaccurate. She says, "We are not experiencing a spike in crime," she said on MSNBC Sunday. "In fact, we're watching our crime numbers go down." Now, if y'all remember, I had did a video about Brandon Scott, who is the mayor of Baltimore, another city they like to throw out there because, you know, they watch The Wire so damn much and they think that's just reality, about crime being down there. What I've also noticed, too, is that a lot of the black mayors have been attributing to crime being down in whatever city they are a mayor of. And they're trying to push back against that because, one, obviously they're black, and two, if they're a black mayor, 9 times out of 10 they're probably in what would be considered a blue city or maybe an overall blue state. Trump says murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. The fact state in 2023, the District of Columbia recorded 274 murders in a city of about 700,000, its highest number in 20 years. But the city's own crime statistics from the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, when the population was smaller, show much higher numbers of homicides. In 1990, for instance, the city reported 498 homicides. The next year saw 509 and 460 in 1992. Decades of statistics on crime in the city are available online. On Washington murder rate compared to international capitals, it says Trump, the murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City. Some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth, much higher, and this is much higher. It says the facts state it's true, but Trump isn't telling the whole story. Washington does have a higher homicide rate than many other global cities, including some that have historically been considered unsafe by many Americans, but Trump is leaving out important context, such as the U.S. in general sees higher violent crime rates than in many other countries. While Washington is one of America's most dangerous big cities, others have higher crime rates. Trump blames cashless bail for crime without evidence. In the facts state, data has not been determined. The impact of cashless bail on crime rates, studies many of which focus on recidivism of descendants rather than crime rates, have shown mixed results. A 2024 report published by the Brennan Center for Justice saw no statistically significant relationship between bail reform and crime rates. The nonprofit looked at crime rate data from 2015 through 2021 for 33 cities across the U.S., 22 of which had instituted some type of bail reform. Researchers used a statistical method to determine if crime rates had diverged in those with reforms and those without. And it goes on and on and on. So they basically broke down the lies that he told. They basically debunked it. So I'm gonna show this one. I don't have to share the next article because that basically the article that I just read covered that one. But listen to this, y'all. Look at this. Trump wants to extend federal control over Washington police. Now, for those who don't know, this in which he just implemented is supposed to only last 30 days, which is a month. So from what was Monday's date? From August 11th to September 11th, ironically, is only that's how long it's supposed to last. But he wants it to go beyond the 30-day window. It says U.S. President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that he would ask the Republican-controlled Congress to extend federal control of Washington City Police Force beyond 30 days, escalating his campaign to exert presidential power over the nation's capital. Trump also asserted that any congressional action could serve as a model for other U.S. Did I call it? Look at the title. Why did Trump federalize DC and what it could mean for America? What did I just say? And look what it said right here. Trump also asserted that any congressional action can serve as a model for other U.S. cities. But it goes further to say he has previously threatened to expand his efforts to other Democratic-run cities, such as Chicago, that he claims has failed to address crime. AKA, we're going to plant all these National Guards in Black majority municipalities. Code speak. Shout out to that anti-Black Lee Atwater. He was a piece of shit, but at least he left the world, and he left the gym before he left the world. The Republican president's extraordinary moves in Washington are reflective of how he approached his second term in office, shattering political norms and legal concerns to test the limits of his office's powers. It was not clear how Trump's takeover of Washington's Metropolitan Police Department could be replicated elsewhere in season control. On Monday, Trump took advantage of a federal law, the District of Columbia Home Rule Act, that permits the president to do so under emergency circumstances for up to 30 days. There is no basis for Trump to attempt similar takeovers in other cities, according to John P. Fishwick Jr., a former federal prosecutor in Virginia, who said the Washington represents a, quote, unique situation. Trump also announced on Monday that he was deploying 800 National Guard troops to the city, a tactic he employed in Los Angeles in June when he mobilized thousands of Guard soldiers and U.S. Marines over the objections of state and local officials in response to protests of his administration's immigration raids. Separately, hundreds of federal officers and agents from more than a dozen agencies have fanned out across Washington in recent days. Trump has painted a picture in the U.S. Capitol as a city gripped by a wave of crime and pervasive homelessness, despite both federal and city crime statistics show that violent crime has declined since a spike in 2023. Trump said on Wednesday that the city's crime statistics were a total fraud without providing evidence, and that the public would soon see a big change in the figures. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi told Fox News, that officials were looking into the city's statistics last year were manipulated. The office of Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser, a Democrat, declined to respond on Trump's latest comments. Still, as big U.S. cities go, Washington remains more dangerous than many other cities based on homicide crime rate. And I'm not going to go through the rest of it because it's just a rehashing of what we just saw. But before I bring up the last article, because the last article is going to put the icing on the cake, I want to show y'all this video because you're about to witness what is going down in DC right now with the National Guard there. And this is coming from the My Mixtapes Twitter channel. I said Twitter channel. Twitter account. It says feds under Donald Trump's instruction were seen going around DC neighborhoods warning people about smoking and drinking outside, even on private property. So let me go ahead and share this with y'all, right? Well, before I do that, it's something else I got to pull up. And I thought I had it. Okay, I have it now. So let's go ahead and watch it.
How y'all doing today? Y'all staying in that trouble? You got your ID on you, Chip?
No, I live right here.
Okay, cool.
It's a cigarette.
All right, come on.
Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keep everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like
No.
Code 3 or anything like that people are putting up? All right, so yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together 7 days and going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses.
Okay, I got it, KJ.
Drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into there's multiple agencies or somebody, there's shooting and things like that. So there's extra hands as well, right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a joint or something like that, all right?
I only asked because when you walked up at the moment you walked up, you only had eggs.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in the air, right? And you're the only guy that had something lit in your hand, and I didn't flash it, so I didn't realize it was just a cigarette. So that's on me. I appreciate you understanding and not getting shit with me. All right, so just know, right? Learn, teach, tell your boys, like, yo, everybody's out, from FBI to park police. Right? So do your thing. Let them know. Don't be smoking outside. Don't be drinking outside. Because Donald Trump is tired of it. People coming to visit.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know smoking in public?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the rest of the
Because in Maryland, there's recreational use, so I didn't know.
Yeah, so DC, it's recreational use as well, right? But you can legally possess up to 2 ounces. You can gift an ounce to your boy, right? So if you had 2 ounces and he said he needed a zip, you can give him a zip, but you can't smoke outside.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was day one. That was day one. Smoking and drinking outside on their property is now a violation. This is where we at, y'all. This is where we are at. And then someone said in the chat, the guy talking, this one right here, he did sound nervous. I think it was Mansa Musa that said it. He did sound very nervous. Almost like he didn't know. It's almost like he was coming off the fly of what to say. He didn't know what to say, so he's just talking to the point where it sounded like he was making stuff up. And I don't know if it's just me or not, but why do I have the feeling that he was going to try to get them to get out of character so they could have a reason to attack them? So they said, well, we can't get them on make them turn aggressive. So let's just say that, oh, we can't allow you to smoke and drink outside, even if it's on your own private property. Now, I was going to show, go to the last thing, but KG actually just sent me this. And actually, I actually had this video, but I didn't remember where I put it at. It might have got lost in my DM somewhere, but shout out to KG for sending me this. Now, I want you to look at this right here. But before I get into it, let me read what the caption says. It says, so it turns out the man who assaulted ICE officers with a Subway sandwich is a DOJ employee. He has not only been charged with a felony assault on an officer, but he has been terminated from his job. Now, I think this, KG, this happened in DC, right? This video right here, this was DC. I think this is DC. But anyway, look at this. Look at, and by the way, this is a PC man right here. Watch this.
They what?
You see these fascists right here? And
Fascists?
fuck you, fascists.
Okay, this is definitely DC. I can tell now. This looks like this. Oh, this looks like Georgetown. This looks like Georgetown.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
He must think he's supposed to be from Game of
I
Thrones.
laugh it, but that's the truth, though. We really talking real shit.
Shame!
Y'all need to do some background studying about the Federal Bar Association.
Came in.
What vehicle?
The ones they pulled up in. These fascists.
Oh, the fascists tried to the federal buy investigation.
Where did they? What vehicles did they show up in?
They showed up in unmarked.
Where are they? Where?
Right, is it the white truck right there? The white car in front of there.
That white Jeep over there.
All the white cars.
All those white cars.
Yeah.
Okay, this is definitely not Georgetown. My bad. Watch this, y'all. Watch this.
They Florida man. Yo! They Florida man. Hey, Daddy, Come on, bro. Let's go get him, bro. Let's get that nigga.
No. You don't got me super bad. No.
Bro. It's not working. Fuck them, bro. Stop the drama. Little blue. It's not fucking worth it. Come on, Brian.
Like fucking crown, man.
Take a fucking way. You get that?
Motherfucker. Oh.
It's fucking done. It's fucking done.
He cooked him.
There you got it. Now I never saw the whole video, only saw from the part where he hit him with the sub and then ran. I didn't see the first minute and a half of the video, only saw this part. So shout out to KG for sending me this, but yeah, he went over there. And the irony is that he just got the sandwich, and the Subway was right there, like where they were standing at. He was right there. He hit him with that sandwich hard. He hit him with that sandwich hard because it broke, and you could see the condiments on the sandwich, like the lettuce fly out of the wrapper. Like that's how hard. That's how hard he hit him with the sandwich, because the stuff started flying out of the wrapping. That's crazy. Wow. But yeah, this is just the first couple of days. This is just the first couple of days. But shout out to KG for sending that. But before I drop the link, I want everybody to tag KG and give him the round of applause emoji in the chat. Before I have to see it, put KG's name in the chat and put the round of applause emoji in the chat. Nah, it wasn't a Wallow J. It wasn't a meat. If it was a meatball sandwich, it would have been messy. I need to see it. I need y'all to put KG's name in the chat plus the round of applause emoji, because what I'm about to show y'all, like, we heard about it, but to actually now see it about to happen, all I gotta say is KG called it. What did he call? The crime bill was coming. The guy that told us that November the 5th, the grift was coming to an end, he called it. A bunch of other things he called it too. Unfortunately, one of the things he called for me didn't work, and that was the Powerball numbers, but we're going to work our way to that. He said that there was a crime bill coming. Look at this right here that was posted a day ago. Trump says Congress needs to pass crime bill, including a 30-day extension of the DC takeover. There it is. There it is. Let's read into this, shall we? U.S. President Donald Trump said on Wednesday that Congress will need to pass a bill to address crime, and that the legislation should include an extension to the 30-day limit on federal police control of Washington, D.C. He says, we're going to be asking for extensions on that long-term extensions because you can't have 30 days. Trump said at the Kennedy Center after he announced the 2025 honorees. And that's all there is to it. All he did was announce it. So we don't know what's going to be a part of this crime bill. He just merely announced it, that there needs to be one. Meanwhile, Black people, we still don't have an anti-hate crime bill on the books. So like I said, this is just an announcement. We don't know what's going to be in it. We don't know any of the details. This was just announced. We in for it, y'all. We are in for it. But shout out to KG because he's the only one that I know that consistently called this, saying that it was a crime bill coming. And he called it for a while. So if you heard anyone else say it, 9 times out of 10, they probably heard it from him. But I know y'all have something to say about this. I already know. So the link is in the chat. I have the timer set to 3. So y'all can come on in and air out your grievances, comments, and concerns. Wallow, of course, I knew you would be first. What's going on?
What's going on, Tori? What's going on, everybody in the chat? And y'all go subscribe to his channel. I'm gonna keep putting it in the channel. Go subscribe to KG's channel, please. Thank you. Earlier today, I talked to somebody that I went to school with. He lives in, I think it's what is it called? Frank? No, Frank. What is it? It's like 40 minutes outside of DC 20. It's called.
Is
Frank?
it Franconia?
Yeah, Franconia. Yes.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, well, do you go to DC? I asked him, do you go to DC or Baltimore? He said he go to DC more. And I asked him, is it crazy like they claim it is on TV? Like, nah, it's not that crazy. So I said, okay. He was like, a lot of that stuff, like because he told me, he was like, a lot of this stuff they say on TV ain't even true. So that's something I always learn, especially when somebody comes from Chicago. They were like, Chicago ain't that crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But he said, if you enter that type of lifestyle, yeah, it's going to be crazy. But if you're not, it's not that bad like they claim it is. So, of course, they're always over-exaggerating stuff. And didn't last year Trump say Atlanta was the most dangerous city in America?
They flip-flop between all the major black areas all the time, and now it's DC's turn. Again, rather, because that's what they kind of painted at DC back in the day. But then, once it started to get gentrified, it stopped. Like, they stopped doing it, and now it's back again.
Yeah, notice they always talking about in the blue states, oh, these cities are bad, but they don't talk about New Orleans like that, even though New Orleans is in a red state. They don't talk about Memphis like that. Memphis is in Tennessee, a red state. Atlanta's a red state. We can go down to Florida. They don't talk about Florida cities like that because there's a lot of dangerous cities in Florida.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, those shootings that just recently occurred, all 3 of those happened in red states. I know it was one in Texas, the Target in Texas, the one that happened at the CDC because that's in Atlanta, and the other one at Emory. I forgot where Emory is at.
I forgot what that is. Yeah, and everybody knows if you look up most of these cities that have all these crimes, a lot of them are in red states. Just they don't tell nobody that. They be like, oh, it's just in these blue states. Okay. Them red states are just as bad or even worse. But yeah, I'm gonna land my plane in Torian. Oh yeah, what's that old girl name in the chat that comes up after me? The one that has a Netflix name.
Oh, Neelix? He's at Netflix.
Yeah, I'm sorry. She needs a wrench. I like her. Give her a wrench, Torian, please and thank you, if you can, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, next, let's see. I had to unplug my interface right quick because it kind of went out on me. But shout out to Wallow for coming up. Next up, I already know who it is because I saw the name. But shout out to Anacostia Mayor, aka KG, the one who called this down the middle as far as this crime bill goes. What's going on?
I'm your mayor.
What's going on?
Y'all ready for 15-minute cities? We need to get exercise in.
Can you explain to them briefly what a 15-minute city is?
You ever saw Judge Dredd?
It's been a while.
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Mega City 1, Mega City 2, Texas City.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that on a micro scale.
Wow.
Wherever you live, if it's not within 15 minutes walking distance or preferred driving area, you can't leave.
That's crazy. And the crazy part about it is because you called this crime bill down the middle, and it's like it looks like it's possibly going to happen. the fact that you're mentioning this and we pretty much take value of what you say means that will probably happen too.
Oh yeah, because I mentioned this years ago when they first started floating it, because they want to do that in New York since they have so many neighborhoods. But now I'm catching conservatives do it now. And I'm like, oh, so that's why y'all wanted to implement the AI so much. That's why Palantir got that big old contract with the government. They're going to have AI do the crime. We're about to live in Minority Report. But anyway, I did send you one more video that should, that's more for the tethers and the immigrants, my people. I need them to look at that, and I'm going to leave.
All right. I appreciate you coming up.
Yeah.
All right, shout out to KG, and again, shout out to KG for basically calling all of this down the middle. I mean, like, he straight up called it. When I saw that they mentioned something about a crime bill, KG was the first person I thought of, because I kept remember him always talking about it. He would always tweet it a lot. And now, you know, everyone else is going to be talking about it. I'm like, oh, I know where I heard it first. And speaking of, Neelix, what's going on? I think you have a fan in Wallow J.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I saw it. I told him, I said thank you. I told him thank you in the chat. I appreciate that. Yeah. So okay, so it's funny how like the person, two people before me, I think it was Wallow, he mentioned something about like how you know, they say that Chicago's not that bad like they make it out to be. Does anybody remember when people years ago were in Chicago were saying that cops were disguising themselves as black men doing the murders in Chicago?
Yes, wearing those masks.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I definitely think that that's true, and I definitely think that it doesn't happen in just Chicago. I mean, I think that it happens, you know, across the board in all major cities, in almost all major cities in America. I definitely think this Coristine thing, I think it was a setup. I don't think that it actually happened. And if you really look closely at the picture, I mean, it looks like they took red paint and kind of just squirted it on him to make it seem like he was beat up and injured and, you know, carjacked and all that other stuff. And if you pay attention, I think about a week ago, didn't Trump appoint Janine Pirro as the AG for Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a week ago, but I know she got appointed, and I'm like, oh God, now I got to see more of her. I can't stand Janine Pirro.
Right. Yeah. I can't either. I definitely think that they're going to blame this on black people if they haven't already.
Oh, of course.
And then because of how
they may not flat out say it, but like I said, going back to the code speak, they're going to imply it, because like think about like the verbiage that they use, like what Trump was saying, and even other people online are saying. Like, if this was happening in a white majority area, they wouldn't be going hard like this.
Nope. And if you remember, you know, I like I said, I definitely think that they're going to blame it on black people. And because Janine Pirro is now in that position, they're going to give them the harshest punishment as much as possible to get a reaction out of us. And then they hope that it can escalate from there, whatever it is that they're trying to do. But this is all, in my opinion, to get a reaction out of us, in my opinion. And, you know, Janine Pirro, she has a reputation of giving harsh sentences to black people and or people of color, if I'm not mistaken. And then Muriel Bowser's lack of reaction. Did you see the video clip of her? She was basically like, well, he is the president or something like that. And I'm like, wow, like she's really like
just I said, like what have I always said? Two wings attached to the same buzzer.
True.
That is exactly why I always say that. And it's funny I bring that up, because I actually have another deep dive video that's going to be coming probably, if not next week, the week after, that's going to go into how similar both parties are on various topics, how very similar they are. And it's like, one person can say I'm voting for the lesser of two evils, but the thing is, both of them can share that. One could be lesser at one point, and the other one could be more at one point, or they could be sharing equal evil. So just be on the lookout for when I do that commentary.
Well, you know, I definitely agree with that, Torin, but here's my thing, though. But if that's the case, then obviously, I mean, the thing is that two people run for president every 4 years.
Mhm.
And regardless of what we might think, one or the other is going to win. So, you know, it's like, should we have voted for Kamala? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get what you're saying, but do you see like the message that it brings across? Because it's like either way, someone, one or the other, is gonna win. That's just how our system runs. I mean, we could try to change it, and I don't think it can be changed, but you know, it's like I feel like that kind of mindset is the reason why Donald Trump is in office right now for the second time. You know what I'm saying? So I voted for Kamala because I sure as hell didn't want Donald Trump in office. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I do know that they are two sides of the same coin. So yeah. But yeah, I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
We appreciate you coming up.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right, shout out to Neelis. And I got your comment, Miss Nisi. And you got what you wanted, Wallow. All right, next up we got Defiant. What's going on?
Hey, Torian, this is Jacoby. How you doing?
Oh, what's going on?
Not much, man. You know, I see that the dude, that dude, what dude with a sandwich. But on a serious note, I live here in Portland, Oregon, and they got this ICE building downtown on Southwest McAdam. It's over by the waterfront, probably one of the more wealthy areas with low income housing. And man, you talking about white privilege at its finest, man. They built some type. Antifa built some type of LRAD system to make your noise to like pierce your eardrums at the ICE officers. It's gotten so bad that the residents were complaining. One black lady went out there. I think she was FBA. She went out there and told me, "Y'all gotta keep this down. Shut, please." She begged them. She was displayed coming out on a cane. They told her to shut the fuck up. Okay, and and she sued the city because the police won't come down there. They can't go over there because there's an ordinance in the law saying that they can't interfere with ICE operations, even if you're getting assaulted. There was a white reporter who got assaulted. I mean, they get to do all types of stuff, but we're the bad person, right?
Yeah.
So so I see this, I'm just like, y'all can kiss my ass, okay? Immigration was another thing. This y'all on some other shit. When I saw the new attorney, was it the lady who used to be on Fox News, the one?
Your Janine Pirro?
Yeah, she reminded me of a female version of Joe Biden. I said, oh boy, no, forget
Janine,
about
your Janine Pirro. She's starting. We know she's anti-black. I've talked when you see me. I've talked about Janine a few times.
Yeah. It's like when I heard her talk, I said, oh. Yeah, you about to forget about Crime Bill 2.0. They're about to be a 3.0, and it's going to be something like a lot of us never really seen coming. The best thing, and also I think that Doge dude who got beat up, I'm going to add something to that. I believe, in my opinion, that they put on that black mask and beat him up. That's why there's no police report. That's how I see it. I think it was a deliberate attempt. He was probably in on it, and that's how they were able to justify doing what Trump is doing already. I mean, truth is stranger than fiction. At this point, nothing at this point should ever surprise me at this point. And then there was another FBA sister, 68-year-old woman. I was listening to Taylor House YouTube channel, and this 68-year-old was murdered by the New Jersey police. They shot her and tased her at the same time. I'm like, and everybody said they loved this woman. She was a good woman. She babysat children and everything. But I get to see the both sides of how we're treated and how white folks are treated out there in the streets. They've never got no black treatment. But the best thing to do is this is a time for us to really come together and land my goddamn plane.
I appreciate that. I had paused this time because when he had started talking about that really kind of perked my ears up. That particular story. That's why I had paused his time because I wanted him to finish that statement out. But I appreciate you coming up, Jacoby. All right, next up we got Zemus. What's going on?
Hello. So my opinion on the situation is we've all dealt with I'm pretty sure in your family you've not your family, but and maybe your family in general, you've dealt with that little bratty kid that just wants to keep picking at you, and no matter what you do, they just get angrier and angrier. I'm pretty sure we have somebody that we know that's like that. That's exactly what they're trying to do to Black people. I feel like they're trying everything because I don't know if you saw it, but he said on TV that they've tried to do everything to get us riled up, and we're not doing what they want us to do.
Exactly. We're not. They like I said, it kind of goes back to the video that I did earlier today about the rage bait. Like they need us for their clicks, views, and engagement, and of course that will also translate to money and even subscribers, depending on what platform it is. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And my thing is, of course, the PC people, they're justifying him with all these federal agents going up there in Washington, D.C., doing what he's doing. But my thing is this. These fools, as always throughout history, don't understand. They always start with us, but they're going to be coming after y'all eventually. It's only a matter of time. And then when they do come after them, they're going to be crying and whining to us. And you already know what time we're on. Well, we're not going to be helping them anymore at all. No. And that's pretty much it. B1.
Appreciate you, Denzemus, for coming up. Let's see. Next, we got Don P. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, nephew?
I'm doing good.
This is nothing new under the sun. I turned 61 years old, so I've seen all this before. This is the setup. Before there was any drug problem that they created, they had a war on drugs. It's the same thing they're doing right now. That Doge kid, that's the same thing as Donald Trump's Band-Aid on the ear. All that's fake. But here's the important thing. The reason why this is all happening, why they've always come after you, is because you are the main subject, the main character of that book. You are the children of Yasharel. These other nations are trying to destroy you. Even these people, these beings that are not human, they're not Adamic. They don't come from the dirt where Adam came from. They are the seed, the second seed that's in that garden. They are the seed of the serpent. They are the devil, and you are the children of the Most High Creator. His name is not God. You are the children, and that's why they're coming after you. I'm leaving America because this is Babylon, and it will be destroyed. And you're watching it now. Donald Trump is pissing off all his allies, and they're going to watch as America is bombed and destroyed. And I land there.
Appreciate you, Don P, for coming up and laying down the gospel. Appreciate you coming up. All right, next up, a person who has been anxious to get up here because they keep typing buzzer in the back chat. Jonathan, what's going on? It better be worth it. What's going on?
Hey man, I'm gonna be buzzed as well because I'm gonna be a good while talking about this. So Wallow and I'll go ahead and cheer on this. So yeah, man, all I can say is Trump did exactly what he is.
Wait, hold up, Jonathan. Before you continue going further, turn your radio down.
Oh yeah,
for copyright reasons.
Okay,
I like the song too, but I'm just saying. But go continue.
No, my roommate was driving. She turned it down. Yeah, so we're not surprised. We know Donald is exactly doing what he's said he was gonna do. He just tricked his supporters thinking that it was just gonna be us that he was gonna torture. And yeah, the DC police is terrorizing Black folks. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't went from the fact that went from Chicago to Atlanta and now DC. Bro, just say y'all just want to target Black people. That's all you have to say. That little 12-minute speech and all that. It's a whole bunch of gibberish and excuse. And all I can do is shake my head at the whole situation because it really hurts that we're this much of a target for all this to go down. So as far as I know, all I want to say is Trump and them kiss my black behind, and so everyone else who thought I was gonna stay here for 3 minutes to get buzzed because I was just playing with you. Sorry, Wallow, I was just messing with y'all. I'm laying my plane.
All right. Appreciate you coming up, Jonathan. All right. All right. Next up, we got Mansa Musa. What's going on?
Yeah, you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, what's going on? Yeah, I was late coming in the stream, so I might have to do a watch back. I might do a replay, rewatch. But I did see coming into the end with the guy throwing away his meatball stuff, whatever stuff he had. I don't know.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me pause. It sounds like you're going in and out. It also sounds like you're kind of far away too.
Oh, all right. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, because you're kind of breaking up too. I paused your time.
Ooh, can you hear me?
Okay, you sound better now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, cool. Yeah, man, dude wasted his meatball sub. I saw that. That was hilarious.
Like I told someone else, that wasn't a meatball sub, and I know it wasn't because, like, I saw the letters fly out. If it was,
it wasn't a meatball sub.
Nah.
Yeah, it's cool. It wasn't a meatball sub. He was a meatball for throwing it away. He could have ate that. What's wrong with him? But either way, it's like basically what they're doing in America is because Kamala isn't president. Don't think that we're not keeping an eye on this guy too. Okay, because we have to. Yeah, we cool with all the deportations, people leaving and everything, with the illegals, even though they got some legal folks, but it's mostly the illegals that were leaving. It was fine. Some of those policies made sense, fine. But this stuff starts coming around, we're going to have to watch this dude. There's no choice. We're going to have to start watching these guys because they start making moves that don't sit right with us. So as far as that's concerned, if this is what it's going to be with these 15-minute cities, and it turns out to be like that, all I'm saying is it's authoritarianism remastered, coming soon to a console near you, 2025, 2026. Go ahead, pick up your PS5 and get ready to stay in the house because you can't go nowhere. It's going to be on Xbox, PC, and Switch. Because they're going to be keeping y'all all in the house. If this house going to go, I doubt it, because you saw the video like we all saw. He was nervous. He was talking. So, hey guys, what's going on? What you want? You got a call or something? No, just tell your buddies and just, you can't drink on the porch. Whatever, nigga. Go ahead, bro. Worry about you. So it's a bunch of hoopla. It's a bunch of hoopla. So that's all it is. So just keep your ears to the streets, people. Just make sure, you don't get jammed up in this game. I'm going to land my plane.
Appreciate you coming up. Shout out to Mansa Musa. And before I bring up the last person, can someone kick, who was this person? Priceless Princess out the chat. We was doing so good, and then they want to come here and troll at the end. But right now, let me go ahead and properly introduce the last person. Again, this is the last person, so no one else scroll up and click the link.
Heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred.
Miss Hurricane Nisi, how are you doing?
Good evening, Tori and family in the chat. I'm going to echo Don P's earlier comments. Family, this is biblical. Do you recall me saying this, Torian? What's happening right now, this is biblical. But being the chosen people of the Most High, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. But meaning, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to make it do what it do. Lock and load, baby. And I land there.
Appreciate you coming up. Shout out to Miss Nisi for closing out the panel for this wonderful live. And shout out to Miss Jalen for the $5 super sticker. I didn't catch it early because we were still on a roll with everything, but I appreciate the contribution. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting going forward. I'm curious to see what it's going to be like by the end of the year, y'all. Again, this is just year one. We still got to 2028. That's crazy. But anyway, y'all, the next live will be on Sunday, which is True Crime Sunday. Y'all will find out on Saturday what True Crime Sunday is going to be about. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And of course, you will get 2 videos tomorrow. I'm going to upload them after I get off of here. But with that being said, y'all go ahead and enjoy the rest of your evening. Shout out to all the members, all the mods, all the people over there on Patreon, everyone in the Discord. Again, if you have not joined the Discord, I highly suggest that you do. That's where the rest of the family is at. You know, you'll get the notifications over there, and we talk about a whole bunch of the other stuff that's not over here. That being said, though, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Be safe, and most importantly, be one.